Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Beardsly's Daily Dose, where me and my best friends give you our professionally unprofessional advice and toe the line between helpful and humor. As always, I'm your host, Beardsly, and join with me are my two closest friends, Christina.
Hello.
And Jake.
Hi.
Chances are, if you are here, you can relate to having a day's worth of stress and bullshit. So strap in and get ready to laugh as we give you the Daily Dose.
The wink's a great touch. For those who can't see, he just did the cutest wink you've ever seen in your life. You've got the riz, bro. Oh god, he mewing.
Oh, is that what that's called?
Mewing, yeah, with the like.
I thought mewing was meow.
I know, right? Me too. But apparently it's.
If you do want to see me mewing, go check us out on YouTube because we're there as well too.
You can see our faces there.
You can see our faces there. I am so excited to be back. It has been some time in between our recordings, and we are back and getting back to it, and so I'm excited for that. But we aren't going to leave you wondering what we were doing in that time. We're just going to jump right into this episode and start reading off today's topic. We are going to start today with Christina.
Hello. So this topic today comes from the group Raised by Narcissists, and I'll put this out here as a prologue, if you will. It does seem like a lot of the millennial generation has some pretty strained relationships with their parents, including myself. I am, I guess, what they call self-orphaned. So my natural father is alive, but I've never met him. I talked to him on the phone one time, and he told me on the phone, I hope you don't expect to hear from me very much, because I don't talk to my own family that much either. And I was like, yeah, no doy. I am 32 years old, and we are speaking on the phone for the first time as you acknowledge me for the first time. I get it. And I said adios to my mother a couple years ago. So I'm in this group a lot. It's a good kind of sort of, for us millennials who can't afford real therapy, we just join TikTok therapy and Reddit therapy and, support groups online. And the topic today is one that is close to my heart, and it is the deathbed is the last place I'd accept an apology from. And we'll roll right through it right now. This is from Anne Buquest? Who knows? I said it as well as I can. And so this is under the topic of rant/vent. And when I say I feel this, God, do I feel this? Because as an estranged child, as you'll put it, you will come across some people who are like, oh, but they're your mother. Oh, but they're your father. And let's start with the post. It says, please, please, please don't preach this bullshit to me. Oh, relative is going to die. This is the last chance. Don't you want to make things right? Hell fucking no, I don't. After all, what could be more meaningless than an apology minutes away from death? I already know for a fact that you're not sincere. If you were, you would have done it a long time ago. You're only doing it to assuage your guilt. And if you're capable of feeling such emotion, that just makes everything worse, because why didn't you do it sooner? You're only doing it because you want heaven points. Though, if there is a God, they definitely see right through that nonsense. Apologies require recompense and compensation, and your death is certainly not satisfying enough. You're only doing it to pretend as if it wasn't that bad, to be revisionist over my entire life for your benefit alone. Accepting your apology would then mean that the rest of the narcissistic structure is confident regarding the fact that they'd never receive the consequence for their actions, in this world or the next, which is why they're so insistent on dragging you in for the final confrontation. But I won't let that happen. When it is your time, I won't bother. I refuse to make you feel any better when you always made me feel worse. It's unfortunate that I cannot go through with my revenge, but there is satisfaction in knowing the utter fear you will be feeling in your last moments. When even your massive ego cannot shield you from the reality that you have no idea what's going to happen from the moment you close your eyes and your ledger is blood red and the punishment has not been wrought. Now, this is charged with a lot of emotion here, and I can feel it in some way. And maybe one of you guys will have a different opinion, and I kind of hope that one of you do, but in my own sense, my mother would throw out this, well, someday I'm gonna die. Well, what if they die? And I'm at the point now where I'm like, okay. There was a thing with my brother where my mother sort of forced a reconciliation between us because, he was legitimately going through a hard time and there was a sort of close call and I felt that guilt and I was like, okay, well, I'll mend the bridges and just to have it all go back to the way it was. Like, it really doesn't matter with some people, and family doesn't always matter when they're constantly treating you like shit, And like in my case, uh, my mother had 38 years to be a good mom and to care, and she chose not to the whole time.
Right.
And if I get a call, oh, mom's on her deathbed, or she died, I have the pre-planned response of sorry for your loss because
Yeah.
I already said it. Right? Like, I've said my goodbyes. As far as I'm concerned, I might as well be dead to them. Right? Like, goodbye.
Yeah. Jake, how do you
This
feel
is
about
a
that?
charged emotional one. I get it. It's kind of it's a tough one, but I have I have no moral obligation to try to make them feel better at this point. You know what I mean? Like, oh, she's got a week to live. Cool. Well, I'm sorry. I have nothing to say that I haven't already said
Hope
a
she
million
doesn't
times
spend it trying to
over.
call me.
Yeah, because that's a waste of time.
I'm of two camps.
Okay.
Um, Part of me gets this because there are a couple people that I have in my life that if they were dying and called to apologize to me, yeah, I would. I wouldn't attend. I wouldn't go see them. However, I am more of the camp of that apology. The it's not the apology that the person receiving it needs to, in my opinion, should focus on. If it were me, the apology wouldn't be the thing that I go for. The closure and the forgiveness is what I would go for. Now, I have somebody in my life who I have a vitriol and a hatred for that I can't quantify. I
Right.
can't. But I've also done my own journey of like healing and therapy and stuff. And something I came to was forgiveness is not for the other person. It is for yourself. When you forgive, you are shirking off the hurt and the burden that that hurt will put on your shoulders. It weighs you down the longer you hold on to it. It will. It will. It does. And that's there. We all probably have an example that we can look at and say, holding on to that pain and that anger has not done me any good. It makes you more pessimistic. It makes you cynical. It makes you less likely to forgive in the future for smaller slights from better people. So, if, say, my father were still alive and found out about me and called me and said, I'm dying and I want to apologize that I was not around and that I treated your mother and your brother's mother like garbage and didn't give a shit enough about you to be around, I would accept that apology, not to make him feel better because he's dying. When he's dead, he's not feeling anything else.
Right.
It's not for them. Even if they think it's for them, if it's not. It's for you because they're going to die and you're going to live with the anger because you didn't be the bigger person. And being the bigger person is exhausting and frustrating, but long term, it's better for you. More like morally, what you said tracks. You have no moral obligation to assuage their guilt. You don't. You have a moral obligation to assuage your hurt. Because when your mom dies, you don't have to say she's a good person. She didn't mean it. It's just she was a broken person and didn't get the help that she should have. She didn't focus on her responsibility to herself. And that's not your problem.
It's interesting because I do agree with that part, right? Like, I know from, there's that saying that hurt people hurt people. And I have a hard time with that saying because, yes, obviously, it is true. When you are growing up in a very combative, sort of unsafe environment, it does, you think of like a corner dog, you know what I mean? Like there is that tendency to lash out. I have a hard time with the concept of forgiveness is for yourself, or what exactly does that forgiveness mean? Because it's true that I might still be too close to it, right? But like also the forgiveness part is like, no, you don't deserve some sort of like, oh, it's okay. You were going through something too. Because, I went through something and I still choose to live my life in a way where I don't intentionally hurt people just because my mommy didn't love me very much, you
Yeah,
know? And
right.
so it is really interesting. And I think that's the why I chose this topic is there is that sort of that aspect of forgiveness is for yourself that I have a hard time accepting. Now, I'm totally saying like if I need therapy, thank you very much. And if any therapists want to sponsor our program and, throw me a bone and accept my insurance, that would be amazing. Right? But at some point, where do they not deserve the forgiveness? And what does that forgiveness mean? Now, that's a completely different topic. I get it. If you guys want to discuss it in the comments below, I would absolutely read 100% of them. But at what point is it like, no, you don't get my forgiveness. I don't forgive you for stunting my growth, for hurting my feelings on purpose, for hurting my body on purpose when I was a defenseless child,
Yeah.
for putting that stuff on my children and, being mean to them because you couldn't be as mean to me because now I'm an adult who can talk back. Like
Right.
at some
But
point, like,
but forgiveness isn't wiping away the sin. It's letting go of the pain that it caused you.
yeah,
Which is why I say it's for yourself. If you get into an argument with a friend or a spouse, I got into an argument with a friend recently, and I'm over it because yes, I was hurt and
right.
angry by what
Yeah,
was said to me, but I don't want to live with that. So I will let go of that hurt and that pain because it's
right,
not important and it's not going to serve to either A, make if I like I'm obviously whatever, me and this friend are fine, like, but if I were to decide to cut the person off because of it, I still need to let it go because if I cut the person off but I'm still angry and holding on and thinking about it and letting it guide my perception
right.
of the world, then I haven't actually like gotten over it. That person could be not talking about it at all anymore, but I'm still holding on and talking about it because I haven't forgiven it.
Right.
It doesn't take it away. It doesn't make them better. It doesn't mean that they, just made a simple mistake and it's all good. It is for you, because forgiveness isn't just an erasure of debt to me. And I
Right.
think the phrase shouldn't be hurt people hurt people. I think hurt people hurt themselves.
Ooh, I like that.
When you're hurt, you do things subconsciously that lead you to more hurt because you're leading with hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
And you gotta it's an act of love to yourself to forgive, because then
Interesting.
you can. And
Yeah.
then you're a better, more moral, more grounded person because you're moving forward.
Is it possible that some things are unforgivable,
Oh yeah,
in your
100%.
opinion?
So
Yes.
here's what I was gonna say about it is, to your Christina, your statement of like, when should you forgive somebody, or when should you give them the gratification of giving them your forgiveness? And that doesn't happen. That's completely situational, and that's going to be on the thing that you are holding on to against that person, and how severe that is. If it's something stupid and you're just being petty, then I mean, maybe it's time to stop being petty. But if it's something that created life trauma and just you get triggered by it every time you think about it, or by something that you experience that reflects that, like, you don't owe them anything. When it came down to the whole situation of somebody's calling you and saying, oh, your relative is dying, like you guys have both said, I'm pretty sure, when I chose to exit the relationship with you, I chose to not care about you anymore.
Right. Exactly.
I chose to forget about everything that is to come with you. It means nothing to me, because if it did, I would still be in your life. I would still be an active positive part in your life. Like, I don't want to be in your life because you're treating me poorly and I can't leave. That's not what I mean by that. But there would be a give and a take in our relationship, and it wouldn't just be me trying to make you feel right in our relationship, make you feel like I'm staying here for you.
Right.
Just the whole, once I say bye to you, like, I do open up for, second opportunities. It depends on the severity. If it comes down to like something happens and we stop talking, or we stop, because you didn't get me the correct color of hat on Christmas or something, like, that's petty. I'm going to be pissed off at you and probably not wear your gift ever. But, if you call my kids stupid, or make fun of them, or treat them poorly, or treat them differently than you treat other kids in the family, that's going to take me a minute to step back and say, okay, I need to reevaluate this relationship that I have with you, and figure out what you can do to treat my family better if we're going to be around you.
Right.
We're my father passed away last year, and shit, was it last year or 2 years ago?
No, I think it was last year. Wasn't
Last
it?
Christmas? It was like the 27th.
Last Christmas, my daddy was dead.
DDC. Anyway, when that happened, I felt no emotion. The emotions I felt were sadness for my sisters.
Right.
Yeah.
My sisters that shared, my father as their father.
Right.
That's the sadness I felt. And that prompted me to reach out to them that I hadn't reached out to for a while. I went a few years back. I stopped talking to a good 90% of my family because I just felt alone. I didn't feel like they were there for me when I needed them. You know, I was going through a lot of marital shit and nobody was there. Nobody stepped in to help. Nobody did anything, you know? And so that's when I realized, like, people aren't going to be in my life and actively try to be in it. I'm not going to actively be in your life, and I'm not going to waste the energy to reach out to you.
Right.
So the deathbed part, like when somebody comes to you, whether you're on their deathbed or they're on your deathbed, like it was said, there was plenty of opportunity for this to be taken care of before you decided to die. You're just trying to make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
Well, in my case personally, like, the opportunity has come and gone, and the deathbed means nothing to me. That just means you're going to die.
Well, I
Which
mean,
I knew you were going to die in the first place when I decided to say goodbye.
well, there's
completely.
already been a situation with death in your aspect where yeah, you were sad. It's a terrible thing, but you know, this portion of the parent though isn't going to be the same. I don't feel like you're going to be sad. I think you're just going to be relieved.
I think there will be relief. I think, you know, any sadness I would have is what could have been
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and that what wasn't.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's interesting because my mother teaches classes on emotional intelligence. And so I would hear her talk to people about exactly the same problems that we had in our life and what needed to address it. She had the tools, she had a whole rundown. And, you know, to her credit, she was incredible at her job. She helped a lot of people out. You know, like, I understand that not everybody is a villain through and through. But at some point, I had to realize, wait, you know all of the tools to make things better, and you still choose not to.
Well, that's because she was in denial. There was nothing
Yeah.
wrong with your family.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly.
There was nothing
Yeah.
wrong in her eyes. There's nothing wrong. You guys were perfect.
But I am interested to
She's got a
see.
job that teaches that her life skills are perfect, and that's what reflects when she tells these things to the clients and gives her these answers. They just automatically assume, well, your life must be great.
Yeah.
But to your point of what you said about the sadness of what could have been, that's when I think the being able to like shed it cleanly
Right.
comes into play, because otherwise you're going to feel that through a filter of rage and resentment, and it's just going to permeate into other things, and that feeling is going to be a heavy feeling, because naturally, like, we're human beings. No matter the relationship, you lose a parent, there's going to be like some, to me, like some weirdness.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I never met my
absolutely.
father. He died when I was 9. I never met him. There's still a sense of like longing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's the whole half of me that I don't know.
Right.
And right, and like, so, but I'm not angry about it anymore. You know, I make light of it, whatever. But that's just because I like morbid humor.
Same.
But he was a piece of shit, you know. He was a pill, he was a womanizer, he was a con man. I mean, he sold coke off a boat in
Wait,
the
this is
Caribbean.
where we got our theory that we have the same dad.
Yeah, yeah, right. That's right.
Canonically, Jake and I are long lost siblings, just so everyone
Yep,
here knows.
They're
yep,
both
yep,
musically talented. They're both smart off the noggin with words. Like, they
yeah.
both say
We
words
did
that I'm
shit.
like, what the fuck does that even mean? Are you
We have a
serious? Like,
vocabulary.
what does that mean? No, I'm just joking. But they're like, it fits. Like, their dad could be the same person and we would never know. Never know. All right. Well, that one was deep. That one hits a lot of us in the, the right spot. Because we've all experienced something traumatic like that, so it's different. But to take us off topic of something so heavy and something not as heavy but more just disgusting,
Ew.
I was scrolling through Instagram today, and I'm a nature lover, and I really do like watching different types of like animal videos. And I was on Nat Geo, and it was a video of an elk standing out in the wild, just pissing on himself, just
What?
straight on pissing on himself and getting
Was
it
it
all
cold?
over him, and getting it all up in his chest beard that they have. They have that big chest beard, and he was just soaking himself in it. And as you read the captions, it says he's doing this to attract a mate, because that is the scent that the does will go to, and the ones that are fertile and the ones that are in heat and ready to, have a tango in the woods flock to him. And then that's when there's the possibility of having fights with different elk, because they're like, okay, well, I'm the big dog here, I'm getting all these does, these bitches are mine. I'm only calling them bitches because they're female elk, not human women, just so you know.
I think they're still called does, though,
I know, but
not
I'm
bitches.
calling them bitches, because in the buck world, the gangster would be like, yeah, these bitches are mine. It's like, you know like how street wars happen.
I'm splashing my.
But what I'm trying to get at is, how weird would it be that instead of putting on cologne and perfume, we just like smeared ourselves with our bodily functions?
No, thank
Like,
you.
you're getting ready to go out at a date, and you just, you get the nervous peas and you just fucking point it up like a fire hose and just spray yourself all up in your beard and all in your, like, you like go and you knock on the door and your beard's just dripping piss, and you're like, hey, I'm Beardsly, I'm here to take you out. You ready, girl? Like,
No, absolutely not.
I know, but isn't that weird? Like,
That is so gross.
why are we it must just because we're smart, and we just realize that not putting, fecal matter and urine all over our bodies is not how it attracts people, but how it, makes people flee from you.
I mean, have you ever been in a city parking garage and gone down the stairwell instead of the elevator, and
Have you
all
ever
you
been downtown
smell is
Portland or
urine?
Seattle?
Yeah, San
Downtown Phoenix for
Francisco.
you? Like, that's all it is. I don't want to be there. That doesn't attract me at all. I'm not
I took
like,
a
yes, I am aroused. All this human urine everywhere.
I took a belly dancing class in the Mission District when I lived in San Francisco, and when I got out of the car and walked through, all I could smell was piss, and there was such a problem with people and dogs pissing on like the light posts that they started to corrode. Like, ugh,
Ugh, that's
oh
gross.
my God.
That is gross. Well, there's not a lot of topic for mine. It's more so just like, it just blows my mind that,
Yeah.
like, I know that's because we're civilized and we're humans, but it's like, what if we didn't figure out that different colognes, we can make different smells and perfumes and colognes, and we just pissed on ourselves to, took a piece of shit and wiped it on the underneath part of your armpit, just be like,
Note,
Lipstick.
imagine medieval sex, right? Like you haven't bathed, you
Oh, yeah,
don't
you'd
brush
be-
your
yeah.
teeth. What is that like? The fact that humanity thrived throughout so many years of people smelling so terrible. Thank God I live in the time that I do, kind of.
that is correct. Like, I didn't think about it, like, because I wasn't alive back then, so obviously I'm not thinking about how it smelled back then. But yeah, like, and when you watch movies with those times, that era, they don't really,
Looks so clean.
yeah, there's a lot of things that look clean, but then you don't think about, like, God, these people probably really fucking stunk, like, because they didn't
Rotting
have
teeth
deodorant.
and
I saw a thing that said that the toilets were in these towers, and people had there was basically a sponge on a stick that got put in, like, I forget what it got put in, but basically like bleach to like clean it,
probably
and that's what
vinegar or something.
yeah, and that's what everyone used.
Everyone, communal toilet
Everyone.
sponge.
So that vinegar soaked
So I'm going to go
sponge-
take a shit, Christina. I'm going to take a shit. I'm going to wipe with it. I'm going to stick it in this vinegar. I'm going to smush it around in all that poopy vinegar water. And you're going to come in next and you're going to take a shit and you're going to wipe.
toilet's still warm.
You're going to wipe your butthole with the poopy vinegar sponge.
Of course it's warm. It's fucking 95 degrees out and there's no AC.
And it's vinegar.
It's warm vinegar.
Warm poopy vinegar. Oh,
Please, God, don't have a fucking fucked up butt pull-up.
See, this is why
you're gonna fucking put that vinegar across your asshole when you wipe and it's gonna burn?
Listen.
No, this is why I don't want to time travel.
You brought up the toilet sponge.
I'm just saying, I don't want to time travel, and this is one of the main reasons.
Gross.
Yeah, well, thank God we don't piss on ourselves to attract our mates.
Yeah.
Thank God.
And I know there's a kink for that. You keep it over there, please. I'm not into it.
No, we do not want that in the comments.
You go for it. You like, yeah, let's not talk about it. You can do you, boo. Don't do it here.
This is a golden shower
Free zone.
Free zone.
No, you don't get free golden showers. They're just not allowed. They're just not allowed.
No,
Big X's.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jake, what do you have for us? Because I'm sure they don't want to listen to us talk about shit and piss anymore.
All right. This is from the Am I the Asshole? All right. And this is also a little on the lighter side. So Professional Paladin M asks, would I be the asshole if I began charging my D&D players $5 a month?
Oh.
Okay, so here's the thing. As of recent, D&D in my area is incredibly lacking in DMs. I'm one of a very few DMs who show up to help run Adventurers League, and I also run 3 homebrew games on the side. I've easily invested more into this hobby, regarding writing and research and buying tabletop materials, along with providing food and drink for people. For the most part, people are decent at bringing their own beer or bringing chips and soda and stuff, but I'm still spending quite a bit on providing actual meals and stuff. This idea was brought to my attention after a few of my players kept talking about Endgame. Don't worry, no spoilers here. And they were talking about seeing it several times. There's only one theater in the area, so as you can imagine, it can be kind of expensive. So like $20 to see the movie and $15 for popcorn and soda. This is easily a $30+ experience, and a few people talked about seeing it 4 or more times at a minimum.
Oh, so this was Avengers Endgame, the movie that
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my predicament is that I also put quite a bit of effort into creating a universe that is designed for 5 people. I invest hundreds of dollars and hours into this for other people to come and enjoy. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy it as well, but I'm doing like 90% of the work here. The most my players have to do is write up a backstory and show up and know how to do simple math. To answer a few FAQs here, I feed the 3 home brew groups each week. Usually it's chicken or rice that I buy in bulk from Costco, along with different gravies. Sometimes I do jambalaya. It's usually relatively cheap food that would be easily be brushed off as part of the $5 buy-in. I'm not sure where else you could go and pay $5 and get 4 to 5 free meals a month. I tried to getting them to buy a pizza themselves, and they just bitched and moaned about the price, and I don't want my players leaving for an hour and a half in the middle of a 5-hour session to pick up food. Another user said there's 3 responsibilities in D&D: hosting, DMing, and food and drinks. I do all 3, and also provide a shower, to 4 of my 15 players.
Jesus.
That's wild. Also, when I say I'm providing my players with entertainment, I'm not sure the point gets across that I 3D print custom figures for games. I spend money on tiles, none of my maps are hand-drawn. Sometimes set pieces are reused, but I think so far this year, I've spent probably $400+ on materials that were necessary for the campaign. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but I think the hobby of DMing is underappreciated. In this day and age, a lot of people don't mind dropping $15 for skins in video games or $2 to unlock the next area in Candy Crush, but God forbid a DM asks for $1 per 5-hour session, so $5, to justify all the time and effort that's put in it, along with the out-of-game stuff of feeding people. And that's it. Then it's a TLDR. $5 isn't that much if he's doing all that. A shower, motherfucker, you're costing me water. I pay for that shit. I'm on a meter.
This sounds like a fucking bed and breakfast. Are you kidding me?
Right. So, Jake, if you don't mind, I'd like to answer, unless you're going to answer right now. But then I'd like to go after
Please.
you.
Please.
So, the thing with this is that DMing, yes, is a hobby. Some people are good at it. Some people are not. If
Yeah.
you're good at it and you have people that flock to you to DM games for them, and you want to do that, and you set okay, I'm going to do this at $5 an hour. Yes, I think that's okay. Okay. What I don't think is okay is that if you start DMing something and then you start adding in options of, okay, well, I'm going to start cooking you dinner, and I'm going to start buying these things, and I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to let you take a shower. Now I want to charge you $5 a month for it. That, like, you offered those things.
Yeah.
Those are things that you offered, and like that's very nice and a very generous thing to offer. Like, maybe some of the people don't have opportunities to take showers after they get off work, and they don't want to sit there for 5 hours smelling, all sweaty and gross, and they take a shower before the game or whatever. That's something that you offered. Now, if your players are respectful and they appreciate what you do, then they're not going to be upset if you set them down and say, hey, these are things I have to change in my personal life because I can't afford them. I can't afford to feed you every night. And I understand that we're here for 5 hours. So we can either come up with a compromise of everybody brings some type of food to the party, to the session, and like a little potluck situation. Everybody bring one side, and everybody can munch and just eat to hold them off until they get home to make dinner or whatever it is that they're doing.
Right.
Those are opportunities. But if your players don't want to pay the $5 and that's how you feel and you want to make money doing it, then that's what you need to promote when you are offering to do games.
Right.
I'm trying, at the beginning. And I understand, like, these are things that are coming on as you're playing and you're realizing, okay, shit, these costs are adding up, and they don't realize it. But that's where you have to have a talk with them and saying, hey, I am willing to keep doing this if you guys want to pay $5 a month to help with these costs. If not, I'm willing to keep DMing the game, and I'm not going to stop doing that, but we have to come up with compromises to keep you guys satisfied for those 5 hours. Like, either maybe we cut down the sessions down to 3 hours, or we do a potluck and everybody brings food. It's 5-hour sessions, 2 hours of game time, 1 hour eating and just relaxing, getting chilled out again, and then 2-hour session again. Like, there's can be compromises, but I don't think you're the asshole for wanting to charge $5. It's more so if you're doing it because you offer to do all these extras, and now that you can't do it, you don't want to tell them I can't do it, and you just want to, charge them money so you can continue doing it. It needs to be a conversation between you and your players.
Yeah, like if he for the games that he's got now, I would just sit them down and be like, hey, like when it comes to food, like I just straight up can't do this, and so y'all are gonna have to figure something out, and we could figure something out together. You can bring your own shit.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I was doing the in-person game here, not me running it, but when I was in it, there'd be snacks and we'd order a pizza.
Yeah. And everybody would throw into it.
Yeah, exactly. And there were times where if somebody couldn't, then somebody else covered.
Yeah.
And it was fine.
Well, I mean, that's the camaraderie of the game. The game is to bring people together, and you don't want to separate people if they can't afford something. Like, and that's why I stopped going to church.
Right. And if you're providing a good experience, then people are going to be willing to help.
Yeah.
Continue that.
Because they're going to want to come back and have fun with that experience, like you're saying. Yeah.
No, I agree with that. I feel like if I knew I was going to be joining an in-person game and it was $5 a month, but I got a meal, 5 hours of pure game time, because right now we're doing a lot of like 2-hour online games. I would love to have like a full immersive like 5-hour sesh. That would be amazing. And oh hey, you can also use this random person shower if you don't have one or you're messy. That's something I would definitely want to know and pay for at the beginning. And I do kind of I do tend to agree with Devin here, where like, no, not the asshole for wanting to charge, because that is doing a lot, but
It's a lot of
kind of
work.
the asshole if you've been doing it this whole time and then you want to be like, well, like you said, well, I offered. I'll host band rehearsals for my band, which I will maybe do a shameless plug after the show is over for. And we'll swap around where we'll go to our drummer's house, our singer's house, our guitarist's house, and my house. And when the fellas come to my house, if I am able to do so, I like to have a little meat and cheese platter, some hummus. I like to get the beers that I know they like to drink because I enjoy the hosting of it.
You
I
do
like
you
to
do
have
that when I come over.
I do. I
You
like
do
to
that
kind
when
of
my
set
wife
this
and I come over. You have things ready for us. Like she'll make us fucking biscuits and gravy in the morning. Even if we just come up for a night, she'll still get up early in the morning and make us biscuits and gravy as long as we eat before we leave.
Yeah, I like to host, and I like to sort of be. I like
And that's
having
why
that
you wouldn't be the
reputation.
asshole, because you wouldn't all of a sudden be like, okay, Devin, next time you come up, I'm gonna make you biscuits and gravy, but it's gonna cost you guys $10.
Yeah,
So there's
you
two
would
of you,
tear
it's
out.
$5 each. You need to put in $10 in order for me to do this. I'm gonna be like,
Or when you get there,
I'm just
be
gonna
like,
get
"Oh,
McDonald's on the way.
yeah,
I'll save
by
you
the
the time
way,
of
Devin,
cooking."
this breakfast is $10. Fork up." Right,
Yeah, right. As we sit
exactly.
down at the table, she's like presents me with a bill, and there's a spot on there for a tip too. That's when you would be the asshole. But this guy is
Exactly.
literally, he just needs to converse and say, I can't continue to do this because it's affecting me financially. If that's the issue, I'm assuming that's
Yeah.
what it is. Or your
Yeah.
players are just taking advantage of you and they don't, they're not like.
And if that's what they're doing, when you ask to like help just kind of shoulder the burden of setting everything up with food and stuff, then you don't want those kind of players around that are just going to be there to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Either, So I don't think he's the asshole. I think I agree. If he's like being like, oh, by the way, now you guys have to start paying, that's kind of dickish. Just have a conversation with them, be an adult.
Yeah.
I think there's a way that he could, stick out the campaign and play out whatever campaign they have, or do a sort of, now this is chapter 2. I really hope you guys like this. I can't shoulder all of this because, again, did they ask him to 3D print it, or did he offer to 3D print
Because
it
he wanted it to
has
look cool, or he wanted
Right.
it to look nice.
Exactly.
He
Yeah,
wants
like-
to put on an exhibition of his DMing skills and the DMing qualities that he wants to provide for his players. If he chose to do that, that's awesome, because you know what? That stuff is still yours. You can use it for any game you want. It doesn't have to be just for this campaign. You can use it anywhere. It's yours. It's yours. You made it. Nobody's taking it home at the end of this campaign, at the end of the season, at the end of the game. Nobody's taking it home but you.
I mean, I run a game and I paid a one-time fee of $15, and now I just use Theater of the Mind. So
Yeah.
if you're,
I'm not paying you any money for that.
He does a very good job at Theater of the Mind, though. And no, I'm too broke to pay you, Jake. I love you.
yeah, by the way, season 2 of Blades is going to cost everybody $30 a month.
I pay you with my time as a friend.
Yeah, right.
That's all you.
Colette is
That's
out.
all you get. Yeah. Puddles who?
Anybody in the comments, if you want me to run a game for you, it costs you $30.
Now,
He's a
that
great
being said,
DM. He'll run a
he's
great
worth
game for
he's
you.
worth the price. We just can't afford
We
to
just
pay
have
him.
been involved for so long that it would be really asshole-ish to start asking for money now.
Guys, I feed you. I let you shower.
This man lives thousands of miles away from us. He does not feed us or shower us, especially Goldens.
I feed you with stories and I shower you with
Essentially
details.
A little throwback to
I
the
never want a
middle
golden
section.
shower from either of you ever in my life.
You won't get one. Don't
Or
worry.
from
Yeah,
anybody.
you're in one.
I'm not trying to kink shame, but it just ain't mine.
It's not my. I'm afraid I get seriously disgusted if I accidentally get my own pee on me. So I definitely don't want anybody else's pee on me.
Yeah.
That's fucking gross. So yeah, I don't think this guy's an asshole if he's doing it because he needs help. I think that he needs to talk to them. He can't just impose a new fee and be like, okay, if you don't pay, we're not finishing the campaign. I think that's assholey. But
You're never obligated to let anybody shower in your house, and if you have, out of the kindness of your heart, and then you want to charge them, just send them to a truck stop or something.
well,
Like,
yeah, at
what
that
the
point,
fuck?
it's not out of the kindness of your heart. It's out of
Yeah.
the emptiness of your wallet or the selfishness of your greed.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think that's what those are our answers. I think you can all understand where we're sitting with that. We're not gonna just do it what's right. If you can't fucking do it, then don't do it, and tell your campaign like, hey, I can't give you these nice things anymore, but you can still have my gameplay. I can still provide gameplay for you.
Yep.
Those were some good ones. Even though that was lighter topic, it still kind of hit deep because, you know, we're all gamers and we all kind of experience those things. And, you know, I definitely, if I could afford to pay you, I would, but I can't. And so you just get my friendship as payment.
I mean, to be fair, I don't put that much work into my campaigns. I kind of just fly by the seat of my pants.
That's the thing is that's why it's so, even then it's still good enough for I would want to pay you if I could afford to.
Well, I appreciate it.
There you go. See,
season 2 will have more effort put into it. I have a building. I have story there.
Anybody that wants one session or anything, you know where to get a hold of this man.
Yeah, I'm great for one shots because I won't have to remember any of my
right off the top of his head.
Ooh, what if we offer that on Patreon? One shot
might be a thing.
About it.
Yeah,
$5 a person. I'm doing 2, but I
there we
need
go.
5.
Yeah, we should definitely talk about that. If there's
like
interest in that,
personalized one shot, let us know.
Not even if you'd like to have it, but if you'd like to listen to something like that, if we were to do them with our community that's growing here, then, let us know in the comments or, send us an email and in support. Or if you didn't want to see that, why you wouldn't want to see that. We'd like to hear it no matter what. So, with that being said, you can find us on pretty much all social media platforms except for X. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Patreon, Reddit as well. So make sure you check us out. We'll have links in the description. Christian Mingle.
Only Jake is on Christian Mingle.
What was that? What was that fish? What was that fish one called?
Plenty of
fish.
Okay, yes. It's a quick story. This is going to embarrass my sister, but I hope she sees this. When we were younger, that was a very, prevalent site for people to go on. The internet was still, it's when when dating sites became popular, and that was the popular one.
Right.
I think we were old enough to know what it was. Me and my sister were. But she didn't realize it was called Plenty of Fish. We were young adults because she was using it, and she called it Plenty Offish. This is Plenty Offish. So stupid story. She probably doesn't even remember it, but there's a lot of stupid shit I could talk about her. But yeah, be sure to check us down on our socials. If you do want to watch this episode, go check us out on YouTube, because there will be a full version of what we just talked about for you to watch and see our beautiful faces in the wink and the mewing. But yeah, check us out there.
Beautiful faces in the what and the what you cut out.
Oh, the beautiful faces and the wink and the mewing.
And the wink and the mewing. Yes. And are you guys okay if I shamelessly plug my band right now? Cut this if you don't.
Yeah, let us know your band name, and if we can, I will definitely put a little sample video of the exit song exiting out.
So I bring this up now because we're about to release another live EP and another pre-recorded EP. My band is called Brother Townsend. The website is www.brothertownsend.com. We're pretty proud of it. And, if you think Leonard Skinner and like Creedence Clearwater and some folky music is cool, you'll probably really like this band.
Definitely.
I like it. I think
And
it's good
so,
stuff.
yeah, I play bass and I sing backup, and it's really good. I think it's really good because I'm in it, and they
She's
pay me.
super biased. Um,
I'm super biased, but
but
it's like
those that
Americana
are just
country
friends with
rock.
her, she's pretty good.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it's good. It's real
Especially
good.
since she just learned how to play bass in this band.
I did.
So
Yeah. So once again, brothertownsend.com. You can listen to everything we have for free. We're also on Spotify, Bandcamp, etc.
I will put the links
And
down for their band website in the comments as well, so you can check them out
thank you so
and possibly
much.
support them because they
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud mumble rappers, they're mumble folklores.
Yeah, mumble folklore rappers. If that's what you're expecting, listen to the entire album and you might hear some of it.
Definitely.
I'm in Appalachia and I'm feeling like I hate you.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys, thank you for listening, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to this week's episode of Beardsly's Daily Dose. Like I said earlier, we were going to play some music from the band that Christina is in. So go ahead and take a listen. You can scan the Spotify code with your phone. You can check them out on Instagram. You can check them out on TikTok. The song that we're going to send to you over is called Sandcastles. Go ahead and give it a listen and, show your support to this awesome band. It really helps Christina out. It really helps out their band, and it really gets them, on the board and, getting views and getting listens. So please send them your love and, share them with your friends. Really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.